So, STARC Systems, you guys, you design, fabricate, distribute modular temporary containment walls, right? For construction, isolating dust and sound.
Well, we're in a bunch of markets, but primarily we're in healthcare.
Okay, so healthcare, so clinical settings. I think you mentioned in your products there, airtight. How airtight are your isolation systems?
Oh, we've specifically designed our wall systems for negative pressure applications, and by healthcare standards, have the highest negative pressure ratings of any temporary containment system. It's about three times others.
Wow. Okay. So healthcare, I'm thinking surge capacity in the healthcare settings. I'm sure I got to assume that business has exploded the last couple of years. Has it? And how have you guys kept up with demand and, of course, production?
Yeah, so we experienced really significant growth in 2020 to support the COVID isolation containment needs. We were able to be part of that in a small way, but it did really dramatically increase the size of our business. So by design, our commitment to raw material inventories, facility, equipment, and staffing, we're capable of managing up to a 50% year-over-year increases in production and deliveries. So that's by design how we've structured the business.
So, how do your product development teams, manufacturing teams, you mentioned customer support, satisfaction, how do they all play together to enable this kind of differentiation?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I mean, our commitment to customers drives the business, beginning with the voice of the customer to drive new product ideas, development and testing to meet the industry standards, and certifications and manufacturing capacity to deliver to our customers. And in fact, we're structured so we can deliver 90% of our orders next day, which is just unheard of in the business.
Wow. STARC has been featured in the Fortune 500 due to its revenue growth over, you said, just over 7 years old.
Yeah.
What do you attribute that high growth to?
Yeah, we've been on the list three times. The first time we were on the 500, we were at 486 or something. And we're also one of the top 10 fastest growing manufacturers in the country.
Oh,
So in the
wow.
manufacturing category, we're in the top 10. And again, we attribute it to our stellar customer service, along with a best-in-class product, really tapping into a new marketplace. A lot of our customers have never heard of modular containment before they met us. And so we've been able to change the paradigm in the marketplace, and that's really opened up a lot of eyes and brought in a lot of new business to us. And obviously having a feature-rich, high-quality product really makes that all possible as well.
I want to get back, ask some more questions about your design. I'm thinking about growth, inevitably, growth in CAD files. So you guys use Solidworks for the design, and of course, you're growing, expanding product lines. When did you decide that now is the time we have to talk about data management, right? And actually investigate the solution? Was it a new product line? Was it losing some old files? Like, what prompted that sit down with the team?
Yeah. And as we've grown, obviously, it was just me in the beginning, and then we started adding Darrell and other engineers. But it became pretty quickly evident that we had a problem, and we all had files on our own computers, and so you start to find collisions pretty quickly, and you start overwriting each other's files, or you start having other collisions, and who's got the latest version, and can I have it? And then you're messing it up all the time. So yeah, it became a pretty big problem. We had close to 1,500 files when we started thinking about this, and two platforms, meaning product platforms. So, Darrell's past experience with Enterprise PDM at a previous life certainly brought us the experience to know that there was a solution out there that we should be looking at. And certainly we had to find a solution that would fit within our cloud-based environment, which we had started with from the beginning. We were always cloud-based.
So Darrell, you came on and you started talking and realizing, okay, we need some solution here. And you come from a PDM background, so you know what that solution could look like. What was it about the 3D experience tool that I guess caught your attention?
Well, first being, of course, cloud-based, and its integration with SolidWorks is quite seamless. Other PDM systems, they can manage files, manage revisions of files. They don't all integrate well with SolidWorks, so we use configurations a great deal. So other systems simply can't read that data from SolidWorks, which kind of makes configurations useless.
So you wanted a tool that was well integrated to the CAD. You wanted it to be cloud-based. You found the 3D Experience SolidWorks. Awesome. We've been talking earlier about how important revision management is. What other key capabilities did you use right away besides just data management, revision controlling? Was there something else that you needed process-wise?
Well, certainly, I mean, right off the bat, looking at change management and how we can incorporate that onto the platform. Everything is in one database. Everything from CAD files, change orders, everybody goes to one location for that information.
Have you explored much using the issues application in the web and the change action routines?
Absolutely. I mean, we've used it a lot within our group within product development, and one of the big goals this year is to push that out to manufacturing and really get them using it day to day.
So Darrell, when did you guys implement the 3D Experience solution? Was this before the pandemic, or did that help accelerate some of this decision making?
So we went remote as an organization in March of 2020, and we were immediately able to leverage our cloud-based infrastructure for business operations, except engineering. We migrated to the 3D Experience platform in April of 2020 as we were struggling with access to SolidWorks files. Migrating to the platform allowed us to work on our designs locally and upload to the cloud when completed.
Bruce, I really like going on your website, checking out your glossy catalog. Your walls definitely look awesome. What do you do for more one-off projects? I'm assuming these healthcare facilities want to see renderings, maybe what their project looks like. Have you guys gotten into photo rendering or 3D mock-ups to engage your customers with?
Yeah, quite a bit. Especially during the pandemic, again, doing the isolation stuff, we did a bunch of renderings to illustrate to customers how our pandemic solutions might work. And then, notably though, we did a project for a big hospital in New York City, showing a conversion of their ICU from curtained bays to negative pressure spaces with hard walls. And so they could show their leadership and be able to make the sale internally for that project. So yeah. Isolation stuff, we did a bunch of renderings to illustrate to customers how our pandemic solutions might work. And then, notably though, we did a project for a big hospital in New York City, showing a conversion of their ICU from curtained bays to negative pressure spaces with hard walls. And so they could show their leadership and be able to make the sale internally for that project. So yeah, we use those renderings again for customer-facing projects as needed. Yep.
That's great to hear. I love SolidWorks Visualize as a rendering tool. I'm glad it was able to. I'm glad it's helpful for you to enable the client to visualize what the solution would look like. What about other tools, other publications? I'm thinking about you must have install manuals, field guides, contractor manuals. How are you guys doing those today? Have you ever checked out SolidWorks Composer, for example?
Looked at it a little bit. We haven't elected to buy that yet. Right now, we're doing it all in Microsoft Publisher and just bringing across photos and JPEGs from image files off the screen, renderings and whatever. But that's a path we may go down in the future as we integrate the platform more fully, and we start to think more about capturing up-to-date data in documentation. Certainly that would be having live links or more readily available links into the documents would be good, since we do make so many updates.
Yeah, exactly. So getting away from flat files and flat publications, that's what it's all about. So with So with SolidWorks Composer, we have a connector to the platform, so you can keep it up there. And there's also some really cool technology that one of our sister brands, 3D Excite, makes for both product communication and, like you were getting into, more interactive 3D rendering. So that's a cool thing. Once you get on the platform, we can tap into a lot more brands than just the traditional SolidWorks tools.
That's good to know.
All right, Bruce, your wall systems, you mentioned they're modular. They contain what your website says, lift and drop connections, telescoping tracks, ease of use, customer satisfaction type features. How complex are these mechanisms, and is this just a continual area of innovation for your team?
Well, yeah, we always tweak things, but fundamentally, the product is meant to be fairly straightforward and simple because that makes it more reliable and more robust. So we put a lot of effort into how we design those components and those capabilities to make sure that it offered advantages towards the goals of durability, simplicity, reliability. Again, we try to make these products, or want to use them hundreds of times in the field and be moved around all the time. So these are all fundamental features that differentiate us from others and really provide the basis for the functionality and flexibility of the system. And all these components are all highly customized. They're all, we don't buy any really stock products anymore. It's all our own tooling and our own machining and things like that that's going into them that optimizes cost and weight.
So speaking of reliability, I guess abuse use cases of the walls, you said, durability, reusing it is such a big selling point. Mm-hmm. How do you guys test for that? Is a lot of field testing? Is it, you mentioned voice of customer. Do you get into the simulation digitally at all?
Not a ton of lot. Again, I think of the FEA analysis and a lot of that simulation really towards things that go flying, aerospace kind of projects, which is a life I used to have. But no, we do a lot of testing. We do a lot of application testing and lab testing that is more physical and mechanical testing. We tend to drive forklifts into things, and we drop them on over objects to try to break them, and we do all sorts of destructive testing like that, which replicates what's going to happen in the field. And so, as we develop a new product or we refine an old product, we're looking to really over-design a lot of things so that they have that strength and durability that's needed. And it's, again, the critical targets are often cost and weight. So those become the predominant aspects weighed against the durability and the strength.
Product quality seems top of mind, and no matter how you're going to validate and test it and get the field reaction, that's great that you're priding yourselves on products that are built to last. I assume that's pretty important to your business, right? Customer satisfaction ratings, reorder rates.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's really how we built the business is, we have a 90% reorder rate with our customers. And so they've appreciated the quality of the product and the versatility and keep coming back for more. So as they expand their number of projects or find, they have new projects all the time and they need more inventory. So they come back to us. So yeah, it all ties together. The customer service, the quality of the product, the capabilities of the product, and our outreach all just makes the business successful.
We like to think on the SolidWorks side, the 3D Experience Works business, that our resellers, our value-added resellers, play a lot of that role, making sure customers renew, come back to us, and ultimately are successful with their projects. So you partnered with Solid Experts as your reseller. Did they play a big role in getting you up to speed? Like, how important have they been for your team to be successful with SolidWorks and 3D Experience Works?
Solid Experts has been instrumental in the rollout of the use of 3D Experience. But early on, there wasn't a day that went by that I didn't. If there was a question or I needed some specific training, I could pick up the phone, give them a call, get one of their application engineers on the phone, and work through it. The support's been fantastic.
Bruce, you mentioned you've used SolidWorks since the very beginning. SolidWorks 95, that's 30 releases now. So first of all, thank you. I think that's so cool. What has kept you using SolidWorks for so long?
Well, obviously it's a great tool. I came from the world of big system CAD and the $50,000 seats in a dark room where only certain people could even go in and use the CAD. So when SolidWorks came out, really appreciated immediately the value of parametrics and certainly solids visualization. And so that start really embedded me into the use of the program, and certainly the sketch interface and the context sensitive nature of everything, was just great. And I've embraced it and have never looked back. And they've obviously, come a long way since those early days. I was one of the first people to use the assembly functions in SolidWorks, and was struggling to build an assembly of 30 parts. But so you can imagine how it all started out. But the developers have done a great job of staying ahead of the curve and providing functionality and capabilities that we needed. And so again, I've just never had a reason to look back or look anywhere else.
Darrell, what about you? How long have you used SolidWorks?
First exposure to SolidWorks was about 2004 or 5. Used it in college, and actually my first job out of college was was with Autodesk products. Came back to it a few years later, and been with it ever since. So altogether 10-15 years with SolidWorks. So yeah.
Awesome. And I suppose you see a lot of folks coming out of school knowing SolidWorks or previous job, having that SolidWorks experience you mentioned is kind of ubiquitous now.
It is, absolutely.
Is there anything you've really liked that we've done the last several years in the SolidWorks enhancements? Or on the other side, is there something you would like us to focus on the next several years to make SolidWorks better, from your perspective?
The 3D experience platform obviously is going to be a game changer for us, and then the key benefit of using this platform is the ability for the organization to scale. At our growth rates, we can't accomplish those goals without having some pretty strong tools, and we're really excited about the project manager because that will allow me to integrate all of the tasks that are going on daily and maintain a dashboard and be able to see what's going on and then communicate that up to my superiors and to the rest of the organization. So those are all things that are meaningful to a company like us because of our growth rates. And so, the fact that SolidWorks is developing these tools, again, is just a great plus to be part of it.
Bruce, Darrell, thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited that SolidWorks and 3D Experience have been part of your innovation, and you guys have been able to be part of, the broader response to the pandemic. That's just so awesome that your isolation systems go way beyond construction. I want to thank you so much for being here, and stick around and enjoy more of 3D Experience World.